You also shit your pants that night, Trey.
Damn, thanks for reminding me.
Wish you hadn't come up, man. Glad you didn't come out. I shit my pants.
So you were sitting down.
I was driving the van.
So that's the stain that's in the seat to this.
There's
I feel sorry for
So you
whoever's
could- what
buying
did
that
you
van
do?
next.
It's like driving
Need a
naked.
van, Adam?
No, I'm good.
Grab the KY, get yourself ready. You got some sliding to do. Hanging out with TL and the boys, maybe some critters too. So get your phone and get on the gram. You know where to find the man. Slide into the DMs. Girl, what's on your mind? Slide into the DMs. Well, baby, take your time. Slide, slip it on in. Here we go again. DM Monday.
What's up, y'all? I'm Trey Lewis, and this is my podcast, DM Monday. I'm here with co-host Matt Burrell and Trey Bonner.
What's up?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm just living that single life, baby.
Yeah, single
Looking
again.
skinny.
Yeah, I'm on a diet. I'm on week 3.
Fuck
I've
yeah.
lost 13 pounds.
That's solid.
That's
I've
awesome.
been going to the gym.
You were going like twice a day some days, right?
Yeah, or playing disc golf. By the way, I beat your ass in disc golf. I played with Colton
Venner
yesterday, and
Was he good?
he's good, man. But I won.
Damn.
I almost fell apart on the last round. We played 2 rounds, and I think I was +2. He was like +7. So
That's still pretty
it
solid.
was still pretty good, but I was very disappointed in some of my throws. But had some nice putts. But yeah, man, I'm interested in. I don't know if I guess I'm enjoying single life.
Yeah, it seems like you're bettering yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going out there just looking for stuff. You're just doing
I'm not,
you.
It's not like I'm critter crawling or anything like that.
No.
I feel like that's just putting, a Band-Aid on a bullet hole to say.
For sure.
Yeah. But I did, however, where's that sound coming from?
Damn, Mcilwain bumping some Travis Tritt over there.
Going over there jamming to that 90s country.
Threw me off. My iPad
I thought
off.
it was Lucas. I was just going to kill him right here.
It's definitely Mcilwain.
First day on the set, you're over there fucking playing sounds, man. I'm just kidding.
Damn avocado sucks.
Mcilwain for sure. Mcilwain.
But no, man, I'm not going to let it ruin me. And I actually went on a date, so
How was that?
that was awesome. Hottest girl I've ever been on a date with.
That's good.
I remember going home and telling Ella, my roommate, I was like, I just went on the hottest date. I just went on a date with the hottest girl I've ever been on a date with. And
Now, was this the date where you came to in the round?
y'all saw her. Y'all met
Yeah,
her.
we
She
got
was hot,
we got you a
right?
reserved
Yeah, I
table
wasn't
and
there.
everything.
Yeah. I wrote a song about her. Pretty cool. It's called I Met a Girl Last Night.
That's cool.
Anyways, make a long story short, after I told Ella that, I started thinking, I was like, she probably told her friends, I just went on a date with the fattest guy I ever went on a date with last night.
Damn, nah.
Hey, dude, the dad bod's in. Girls like that shit.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
They
but,
do. They do.
I've been cooking.
You been cooking?
I've been cooking.
with goggles. I can't
the
tell if
goggles.
I can't
What's
tell if
up
you're
with
fucking
goggles?
cooking or swimming.
Well, listen. So originally I was cutting onions, and I'm like, I'm not trying to cry on this bitch. So
You cry anyway, though.
yeah, but like not, you
Yeah,
know.
I'm like swimming goggles. Did
Yeah.
you see
So,
it?
dude, I didn't cry at all. I was cutting the onions. It was awesome. And then I got like 20 DMs. I was like, fuck it. I guess I got to do it again tomorrow.
It's your new point of content.
Another-
Now, what's been the wildest concoction that you've cooked up?
Oh, dude. I mean, I'm pretty much just eating pasta with like Greek yogurt on it. And then like
What?
a meat. Yeah. I saw this bodybuilder on TikTok eating it. I was like, that's easy enough. You just fucking scoop that shit into a bowl.
Look, y'all are gonna hate on me for this, but I've been, I've been on my diet, so that means I've been cooking all my own food. Y'all saw me this weekend. Well, you didn't, but you saw me this weekend on the road. I had my food, packaged up, but I've been cooking steaks in the air fryer,
Those are pretty bumping.
dude. It's like,
They're like crispy.
yeah, it's fast. Like you can cook it medium rare, real easy.
You guys are cooking your own stuff up and like doing this health grind, and I need to be doing that.
It's cool, man. You got Adderall, so you're
I
good.
realized,
Yeah.
I realized that I am. This is probably the biggest like piece of shit, like Burl, you're a real piece of shit
Yeah.
thing.
But you're looking skinny, Burl.
I know, but we were coming back from West Virginia, and we stopped at that Love's,
Yeah.
and we all went in, and they had a 24-hour McDonald's, and that's like just my go-to when I'm coming back late from town because of my medicine I don't eat during the day a lot of times.
Adderall.
So I like get my McChicken and my McDouble, whatever. Sweet Boy's seen it before.
I like
where I've taken
McChickens.
him. But Dude, we were waiting in the McDonald's and the Loves, and I'm standing there with Ben and these other guys that Ben's in there Gurman. Ben's Gurm game was at an all-time high this weekend, by the way. Shout out to Ben, talking to everybody, being the ultimate people person. But I realized I'm a huge piece of shit because I have the McDonald's rewards app on my phone.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dude.
Like that to me is like Chick-fil-A is one thing because who doesn't love Jesus chicken? Amen. But like having the McDonald's app on your phone, and I mean, it got me a free McChicken, but I was just like
You gotta
Ben,
follow George from McDonald's on TikTok.
Ben looked at me like, dude, you really have that app on your phone? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I got reward points and everything.
You have
I'm
like every reward points of every restaurant.
You know, McDonald's, they did away with the long chicken tenders.
yeah,
That
the
sucks.
chicken selects. Yeah,
Dude, those were fire.
the McRib will be coming
What the
back
hell?
around eventually.
There's like a, what do you mean?
like
don't
a,
have the
just like a
selects.
chicken fingy.
They don't have chicken tendies?
No,
no, the selects.
They just
the
have the
selects,
nuggets.
The selects are out of season. It's just the
Yeah.
nuggets.
Yeah, it's lame.
So yeah, I
Who
realized.
started that? Taco Bell, like changing the menu up and stuff.
Oh, I feel like McDonald's has always had like the McRibs had its
Yeah, the
season.
McRibs had
The
its
chicken
season.
fry, the chicken
I've
fries.
actually
from
never
Burger
eaten
King.
a McRib.
I haven't either. We'll have to do that
I haven't
next
either.
time.
That
Next
sounds
time it's in
disgusting.
season, we'll have to do it. I bet you McIlwain's
The
had a
worst thing
McRib.
is a fish sandwich, and Mitch
Dude,
loves
fish sandwich
the
fucking
fish
slaps.
The fish
though.
No, it
fillets,
doesn't.
I don't
Bro,
think-
Arby's got them
I
bumping
don't
fish
think
sandwiches.
I'll ever be hungry enough or have the munchies enough for a fucking
fish sandwich, right?
for a fish sandwich. Like I'll never eat at Captain D's. I'll
No,
never
no,
eat.
fuck that. Like
That doesn't count, yeah.
Captain D's is like, if I'm gonna eat fast food like fish, I'm gonna go. To
But I just don't think I could ever eat fast food
Captain
fish.
Disease, make you just shit
Yeah,
all
have
over
you ever had-
yourself.
Captain D's nuts?
Yep. When was the
No,
last time
no.
when was the last time you had Captain D's?
It's been a minute, but dude, I used to eat that shit all the time back home.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I would eat it back home too. There's one in Gardendale.
My dad used to take us to Captain Disease
After church?
No, it was like Tuesday nights or something because it was kids ate free.
It's hilarious. I remember when I
Him
first
and my mom went through to when they got divorced. He was broke as shit, so he'd take me and my sister to Captain Disease. That's what
funny.
we called it.
Yeah, because I remember when I first moved to town, like the fast food, there's a lot more fast food down here. There just is because it's just I don't know if it's just quicker or what.
Cookout's great.
But the
What
fish sandwich from McDonald's, it's like, yeah, it's just like if you're gonna go there and if you're gonna go that route, it's just like give me 2 fish sandwiches with nothing to drink. It's like
Fish fillets.
It's like the saltine cracker challenge.
yeah, it's terrible.
Pure gluttony, just horrifying. But I remember seeing the coupons that would come in the mail and seeing for Captain D's. And I remember asking my old roommate Dakota, like, hey dude, we got this like buy one, get one at Captain D's. Like, let's go. And he was like, dude, don't fucking go there.
The
I'm
crab
like, why
cakes,
not?
dude.
I'm like,
like
what?
the way they fry their fish, it's just nothing but fried, maybe just a little bit of mystery meat. It's great.
I'll tell you what, my
That shit sounds pretty good.
least favorite fast food, like my biggest, like, why the fuck is this a thing, is Fazoli's.
Fazoli's is ass.
Fazoli's just makes
Yeah,
me mad
that's
because
bad.
as a guy that
It is
grew up
bad.
with good Italian food, I'm like, I'm not gonna eat a chicken parm for $3.99.
Well, that's the thing, bro. You go in there, you get that, you don't touch your food, you fill up on breadsticks, then you have another meal for later. That's what we used to do when I worked at Toys R Us.
Something to eat when you get high.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to eat Fazoli's. I'd rather go to McDonald's.
But
and
like,
get
it's
my
the
reward
quality of
points.
like a Michelin microwavable meal.
Mate, what the fuck's Michelina?
Like the microwavable meals.
The
It's
things
like
we
the
have
brand.
in the bus in the freezer.
Oh,
It's literally
those-
the brand.
The things that Colin kid ate the whole week he was
What
with
were
us. Those little green meal things, the ziti.
Did we buy
Yeah, they're
those or
only
are they
like
for
a-
Jason? I
Yeah,
thought
I
Jason
buy
bought
them.
those.
They're decent.
Oh, they're bus duck?
McIlwain ate ravioli out of the can, like not even heated up or anything.
Oh, dude, I'll do that. I thought they were Jason's. That's why I never touched
No,
them.
anything in there is fair game unless it's in somebody's cabinet.
Oh, I thought those
That's
were
what
Jason's.
I've learned.
Yeah.
So I've learned. What'd you think of this weekend though, West Virginia?
It was fun, man. There wasn't, like a ton of people there, but it was really cool to see Lainey. Haven't seen her in a while. We just called up, and then I got to meet the real TL.
Yeah.
Trey Landon, he's another country artist. If you don't know who he is, go check out his music. We bumped it when we were in Beanville.
Yeah, we did.
Like, nonstop. The real TL, me and Trey Landon always kind of go back and forth about who's the real TL. And I told him the other day, I said, look, there's only one real TL. It's Tracy Lawrence,
Yeah.
he got a mention in a Luke Combs song. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, dude. And I forgot how many hits that guy has. Like throughout his whole set, we were standing out there.
And it's like, we've opened for a lot of people, especially in the last year or so, but it's like, I don't ever expect to like meet the headliner.
Yeah.
But like his tour manager was like, hey, Tracy wants to meet you. And I was like, we were like cool, and then I went over to his bus and we walked in and we just sat down, had a conversation. We're laughing. I'm going to be on his podcast,
That's
which
awesome.
is I can't remember what it's called.
TL's Roadhouse.
TL's Roadhouse. Yeah, he does it on his bus. We've got a show coming up with him August 4th.
Yep.
What's it called?
County Line Country Fest.
County Line Country Fest in Wisconsin.
Yep.
He's on that as
So,
well.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're going to get there early. I'm going to do the podcast, and then we're going to play the show, and then me and Mcilwain are going to head off on an adventure to go play Kid Rock shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to drive the bandwagon back.
I know, man. I mean, it's part of being the tour manager. You know, you do what you got to do. So,
But man, it was cool. His set was really fun to watch. All those hits and just all those people just love it, man. It was cool.
and it was really cool to see the appreciation that people had for us being there. Like the meet and greet, there were a lot of people there. It moved along really quick, but
Yeah, we had the bagel video go viral on TikTok.
yeah,
Mitch told me, he's like, I bet you won't say bagel when you walk on stage. And I was like, have your camera ready. And it's the first thing I said.
yeah, and it was really cool to see the gruesome twosome back. Like the energy of that show, and it felt really good.
If I never hear the quote, you don't deserve to see Tracy Lawrence again, I'll be all right.
Yeah, Mitch Goshi had a really good time, and he's that floral pantsuit. I'm waiting for the day that he wears that on stage.
Yeah.
His floral getup,
Yeah.
like his pure Hoss cat.
He thinks he can't wear shorts. I don't care if the guys wear shorts. Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm wearing shorts.
I never even pack pants when we go on the road. Only reason I'm wearing pants here is because I came
gotta
from
tell
work.
you all the story. It's funny. I was writing at Sony the other day with Davis Corley, and we're sitting outside, and you know Davis is like red hair, super pale, and he goes, I go, man, I've never seen you wear shorts. And he was like, honestly, I never wore shorts. One day I put them on, and I looked down at my legs, and they look like me. And he said they look like McDonald's straws.
He's a pasty country boy, dude.
He was like, but it's like 100 degrees, so I wore them today. But I just fell out laughing. McDonald's
funny.
straws.
How often do you wash your jeans? My coworker asked me this.
Now that I have more than one pair, I wash them after every weekend.
For real?
I used to do that, and then I was told that was bad for the jeans.
Yeah, I'm scared. I haven't
now-
washed these since I got them, and I don't want like.
You also don't wash your fucking bed sheets. You don't wash anything, Bonner. Your
Yeah.
water bill's got to
And
be
you
like
wonder
$2.
why you're still single.
Yeah, but I don't want to dye to wear out, and then they'll be like different color, you know.
Yeah, my black jeans don't. I wash them all the time.
I wash
but
my
they're,
black
they're a
ones.
little bit
'Cause I wear-
They're kind of faded.
Yeah, I bring them on the road. I'm like, well, they're disgusting. Well, I try to bring them on the road. They don't ever make it into the suitcase, but I try to bring them. And whenever I do, I wash my road shit because it smells bad.
I was gonna say, Bonner, you wear the same outfit for 3 days in a row.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever worn them.
I've found myself doing that a lot recently. Wearing my hygiene on the road has not been very good.
Oh, dude, I don't shower on the road. Fuck it. It's fine.
I try to.
There's just never any water when I go to the bandwagon.
Especially right now when it's hot and we're playing outside. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's
fuck,
fair.
you know?
Yeah.
I do at the Kid Rock shows, but the bandwagon, there's just no water in there ever.
Yeah.
Well, we do our best to do that. You just got to get in.
Yeah, you just got to be the first
Yeah,
one in
Burrell's
there.
fired.
You just got to get in there early. I mean, you
If you-
spend
as long as you-
90% of the time on the bandwagon.
As
Everybody
long
should
as-
be getting in the shower.
As
It's
long as you don't get in there after me, because when I get in there, I'm like, I'm paying for this motherfucker. I'm going to stand under this as long as I want to.
Yeah,
That
if you-
sounds good.
If you can get in there before Trey,
Oh,
then
I'm
you're in
not
good
that
shape.
concerned about showering. We're on a Wednesday, Sunday rotation.
We've got a great guest today.
Yeah, we've got a great guest today. He's one of my heroes. I'll never forget when Alex first started managing me. I was probably like a year into the deal of, just grinding all the time. And, I would see my guys that were in the same circuit as me, and they were crushing it and having songs do well. And my songs weren't doing shit. And I just remember being like, man, what do we got to do? I didn't want to quit. I wasn't going to say I was going to quit, but I was just kind of discouraged. He was like, man, look at Adam Hood. Look at guys like Corey Smith. Those guys are grinders. They never give up. And just from there on out, this guy, Adam Hood, became my fucking, not my God, but just who I modeled myself after, I wanted to work like he did,
Yeah, I feel like for anybody that's come out of Alabama in the last 10 to 15 years, I feel like everybody is influenced by Adam Hood. Whether it's you, whether it's Riley, whether it's the Muscadine guys, everybody says that Adam Hood is a part of them wanting to do what they're doing.
His music's great. His songwriting ability is great, and he's just an overall good guy too.
Yeah, and he worked very hard to get to where he is.
Yeah, and he's worked very, very hard to get where he's at, and that's what we love. So Here's our interview with Adam Hood. Adam Hood in the house. Y'all give it up for him.
Yes, give it up for me, everybody.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I just went and worked out today. I'm on this weight train loss thing, and
Yeah.
I got broken up with. So
Congratulations. Welcome to the club. We were
So-
just talking about I have other friends that have gotten broken up with
Yeah.
too. Not me. I'm good. I'm married. So
Yeah,
it's legal if I get
Yeah.
broken up with.
yeah, if it ends with Brittany, I mean,
I'm in trouble.
You're toast.
Yeah, I'm toast.
Yeah,
I'm in a van down by the river.
Man, it's an honor to have you on here today. Sometimes it feels weird when I have people on like you on because you're somebody that I looked up to for a long time, and now we're friends, so it's like kind of weird.
Don't you think we were always friends before this stuff? Because I mean, like, I feel like that we met. Okay, we met at that song swap in Northport.
That's
right.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
and so that was kind of before.
Yeah, and I'd like
before
probably
your
at that
stuff.
point like listen to Million Miles and like play something we know maybe a handful of times, but then after that it's like I really started diving in and like listening to all your music.
Well, and that was before. So we had been at that house. Where we live is like pretty much walking distance from
Right down the
village.
street.
Yeah, and so we, I want to say we moved in right before Welcome to the Big World came out. So I mean, I've had 2 or 3 records.
Yeah.
This will be 3 records.
Yeah.
Before then. So
yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty wild. And then so we kind of like made friends then, but like back then, man, I was still playing Mexican restaurants.
But you were writing good songs.
Yeah, I
though.
was trying, or I was cutting them. Either one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is good?
Yeah, it was
What's a
good.
good
I was
song?
cutting people's songs. I don't know if I was writing a lot back then. I mean, I'd probably been to Nashville a couple times, and but I was still like figuring it out. And I felt like back then, you pretty much had it figured out as far as like writing songs.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Perception's everything,
Well, I
man.
mean, it's just like when you meet somebody, it's like you're like, okay, they're another level. I need to like get to that point.
Thanks for saying that.
Did you see Adam play a show at one point? Like, did you did you ever go to like an Adam
What was
Hood show
that?
back in the
Okay,
day?
so it was
Yeah.
like, so we met then, and then I like. You gave me your number, which I thought was like super cool. I was like, dude, I got a celeb's number in my phone.
Hell yeah!
But you played a show with Chris Knight. I'm sorry, let me say it right. Chris Knight.
Cruise night. Yeah, it work play. That's right.
At
Yeah,
work play.
That's right. I
And
remember
was
that.
like, man, I'm here at the show. I bought a ticket. You're like, all right, see you in a little while. That was an awesome show.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Jason Eady's been on the road with him recently, and they came and played Huntsville, and Brittany and I went up to see him, and Jason and I were kind of laughing about it. He's become such a kind individual as
Yeah.
the years have gone by. He was sort of notoriously stoic for a long time.
Your Chris Knight impression's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm not going to ask you to do it today, but it's
Thanks.
pretty good.
I know, because he was like, Jason was talking about how they take pictures, and Chris would be like, don't post that one. You can't post that one. So I'll probably get in trouble for even saying anything.
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean,
Yeah, who knows if he's ever going to watch this?
I know. What if he is, though? What if
we just clip this and put this on Instagram?
Oh,
and
you
tag
talking
it?
about Million Damn that Trey Lewis thing?
He's a Texas guy, right?
He's
Yeah.
from Kentucky.
Oh, he's a Kentucky guy. But was
I
he?
thought he
yeah.
was from Texas.
Was
He's
he,
from Kentucky.
was he in the Texas scene? Is that
Well-
does he have the connection to that?
Kind of, yeah, because of Frank Liddell. So Frank produced, I guess for lack of a better word, he kind of discovered Chris, and he produced that record that's got Sorryville and all that stuff. And so I think Frank was kind of responsible for Chris getting his feet on the ground with that. And that association Frank kind of associates you with the Texas music scene, just,
By association.
yeah, in general. Yeah, by association.
I
yeah.
thought he was from Texas. I
That's-
thought
I
he
thought
was.
too.
I thought he was like one of the first like Texas guys to really like blow up.
No, Kentucky.
Oh wow!
I know, right?
I remember being like, I don't know, 7 or 8, and seeing that video on CMT. It's like what do you call it? When a bunch of cars like wreck into each other.
Oh, like a demolition derby.
Yeah, demolition derby for what is that song? Ain't easy being me or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know Blake Shelton cutting that song?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's on like his, I don't know, 2007 record. or
Boy, I
something.
bet it's awesome.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
Yeah. With what is he the guy that has that down the river song?
Yeah.
Is that
Yes,
one of his big
that's right.
ones where it's
Yep.
him and his brother and him going and getting the guy and tossing him into the water?
And enough
with
rope.
the fishies. Ain't enough
Yeah,
rope.
that was
a big
the
one.
whole record was a cool record. Yeah, man, he's always been one of those guys that you listen to him and he doesn't really melodically or musically it's pretty much the same 4 chords.
Yeah.
But lyrically and content wise, it's never been boring. Like I never think to myself, oh, this is a pretty vanilla Chris Knight song. Like all of them are really incredible songs. He's really kind of mastered that to me. Like he's a master of this is what I do. I do this every time and I nail it. You know, so I thought there's something to be said for that.
And then I don't know where we got. I don't know. I think we ended up doing a show together too at Zydeco.
Yep.
Yeah, we did like a co-bill at Zydeco together. It's like you're on one side in your hat, and I'm just like hat back, straight bro country, you know, still in style back then.
Country boy crazy days.
Country boy crazy days. But it's like me and you, it's like split in half. I have it framed. My mom like knew how cool it was to me, and she had it framed, cool. So it's in my room. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So one day when I have a room full of shit in it, I'll always have
keep
that in there. Yeah.
Well, send me a copy of it too.
I will.
I know.
It's just a show poster in a frame,
but it's a co-bill too. That's pretty neat.
It's cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
But man, I know, I've heard you talk about this, but I kind of want to get into it a little bit just for our listeners' sake. So you're from Opelika, right?
Correct.
And you grew up, but you live in Tuscaloosa now.
Correct.
How's that?
Enemy lines, behind enemy lines.
I mean, yeah.
Bunch of Roll Tides, huh?
I mean, they're
and
everywhere.
Brittany's a Roll Tide, right?
Oh yeah, that whole family, like her whole family went to school at Alabama.
Oh wow.
I mean, I'm just from Opelika. I'm just an Auburn fan just because of geography, but. There's nothing to it now. They beat the shit out of us every year, and so there's nothing I can say about it. I mean, honestly, I got no legs to stand on.
But does that make it more enjoyable when you guys do win? The fact that it's once every like 5, 6, 7, however many years. When you guys do beat them, it's really like
it's historical.
We did it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And Brittany went to school like during when it was the pre-Saban years, when it was like Franchione was there and Price, and so that was kind of their little flux time, and so which is really it's an interesting perspective for her. She was like, when I went to school there, it wasn't any good, and so that was Auburn's time. That was Tuberville's years.
The 6 years in a row. Yeah. Don't remind me.
The thumb.
From 13 to 19, we lost Auburn every year. That's my entire childhood.
So are you a big Alabama fan? I guess
I am, dude, but like I'm sure you can relate to this. Like after years of just playing the college circuit so much, like you learn to like not get as like worked up. If that makes sense.
Very much so.
About it. And like once you play in Starkville and you play in Oxford and you play in Auburn and you play, all the SEC schools, you realize that it's just tradition and it's all kind of the same thing,
Totally. And because of friendships and stuff like that, I've realized that I root for people that I just on a foot. I mean, like I kind of root for A&M sometimes. You know what I mean? Which is I have no reason not to, and it's because of the fact that I have a lot of friends that went to undergrad at Auburn and vet school at A&M or vice versa. You know what I mean? So like, and out there in Auburn on that Wire Road scene, that's where the vet school is. And so all the people that would come out and see us play, they were all vet school students. And so they would, like I said, when we started going to Texas, if I played in College Station, I had probably 10 more people just because of the fact that they would come see us play at Auburn.
Yeah, and it's just like, but when you're growing up, it's like pick a side, or it's like ride or die. We're gonna fight. We might fight.
Yeah,
somebody gets hurt. Yeah, somebody gets shot or stabbed or something.
Yeah, but it's like if we beat y'all, I'm not gonna call you the next day and be like,
"Thank you,
Alabama beat all."
I know, and I'm not gonna break my television.
But like if it's Saturday and I'm at my house and I'm in my underwear, it's Roll fucking Tide.
and then you listen to the Paul Feinbaum show on the Monday after the Iron Bowl and it's game on.
Oh man, yeah. I mean that's the most entertaining episode ever of Feinbaum. I hadn't listened to him in a long time.
I mean, I know Alabama fans are the worst, so like. To sit here and say that I'm not going to be all up in your face, that's a big deal for me.
That's pretty awesome. I don't know if they're the worst. LSU's pretty rough.
LSU fans are rough. Baton Rouge is a wild place.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Called Death Valley for a reason.
I'd say Tennessee fans are probably the worst.
See, I haven't seen that since I've been down here because they haven't done
nothing
anything.
sucks like a big orange.
Dude, they haven't beat Bama in 15 years, and they're still talking about this is our year. Y'all are going down.
The year that they do.
No coach or quarterback or nothing.
They made it close last year, though. I remember because I think we were at the Auburn Rodeo watching that, and I remember they were making you nervous. In the first half.
Kind of, but not really.
That was the fun thing about it, with Iron Bowl and stuff. That and it's a little silly, but it's also kind of cool. Like you can tell that there are seasons that Auburn all they wanted to do was beat Alabama. It's like, we don't care if we lose every game, as long as the last one, if we can win the last one, then we've had a winning season, which is really funny.
Did you do a lot of gigs after like Iron Bowl weekend?
I got to the point where I refused to do Saturdays because, like you were saying, because I mean, I've been in so many situations to where like we were hired to do a fraternity party or a whatever the scenario may be. And if Auburn lost, you were screwed. I mean, you went broke, you know. And so, but if Auburn won, it was great. But it was such a, just kind of just the variable was the pain in the neck. And so I realized that Fridays were better because the game was irrelevant. You know what I mean? And so I said, look, we'll just play all the Fridays that we can. And now,
was that at Supper Club?
That was Supper Club. I played there. I played Bourbon Street a bunch. I didn't do a whole lot of stuff downtown, like in Toomer's Corner area. I kind of wore myself out pretty quick down there. That's a whole different scene. Yeah. And that's kind of why we went to Wire Road, you know, and why we started playing. You know, the thing is with the Supper Club you didn't start till midnight. That was 12 to 4. Yeah. You know, and so it was cool to do it, but at the same time, like, you know, I had to put a band together. It had to be like a lot bigger of a deal than we were able to do consistently. And I mean, that was also like, Iron Bowl weekend, that was Wayne Mills weekend. You know, I mean, you weren't going to play the Supper Club that weekend because Wayne always had that gig.
That was the King of Alabama. That's the song, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I want to know, like, I know you did Supper Club and Forever, and all that stuff was kind of before my time. So was Wayne Mills. Like, that was like kind of all before me, before I came along. I know Charlie talked about, you know, going to see you at Supper Club and stuff like that, but like, I just never like experienced that. But what was Adam Hood like as a kid? Like, when did you first start playing music and all that kind of stuff?
I feel like I've always kind of played music. I mean, when I was little,
was it like in your family, or
no, but man, I mean, nobody in my family can carry a tune in a bucket, so I'm a little bit of a black sheep when it comes to that. So nobody really knew what to do with me. But I mean, I would make guitars out of tinfoil and cardboard and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's all I ever wanted to do. And so when I was, you know, grade school age, my parents finally bought me a guitar. We moved into this house. We moved into a different neighborhood in 7th grade, and the guy that I lived behind me, his name's David Sellers. We were best friends growing up, and he had a guitar. And so we took lessons from the same guitar teacher, who coincidentally was the guy that was the guitar teacher at my high school. Like, we had a guitar class in high school.
Wow, that's badass.
Yeah, it was cool. And so, but the summer going into junior high, he would take lessons on one day, I'd take lessons on the next day, and we'd just teach each other the songs. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 guitar lessons.
Did y'all share the same guitar?
No, we didn't do that.
Yeah.
His guitar was way nicer than mine was,
nice.
but it didn't take me long. So, but yeah, and that's kind of how I did that up until probably, I guess, 10th grade, 16, 17. My mom, there was a place called the Breezeway in Opelika, and my mom went to high school with the guy that owned that place. And so I want to say there were 3 of us. It was me and this guy named Mark True, who still lives in Opelika, and he wrote a couple of Crystal Gale songs and stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean, he was kind of a real live songwriter. I'd never seen one.
Was he older than you?
Yeah. He was probably in his, oh God, there's no telling. I'm not even gonna attempt. Yeah. But then Brad Cotter was the other one too. And so Danny would give us one weekend, like Brad took one weekend, Mark took one weekend, and I took one weekend. And I mean, I quit the football team, you know. I mean, $150 a weekend. I had gas money. That's all I wanted to do. Yeah. You know.
What position were you playing in football?
Oh gosh, I mean, they moved me everywhere. You know,
utility man.
Yeah, absolutely, because I was too short, and, too slow to do anything. You know, behind the line of scrimmage, and then but I was too small to do anything. On that. So it was not my sport.
Yeah.
So when you graduate high school, do you go to college, or what do? You straight into music?
I kind of just started playing music. I got married, and that was kind of a lot of what I did, Yeah. But my intention was to go to Auburn. When I was a senior in high school, the head of the music department was actually a guitar player. And so that was my plan. And then my senior year of high school, he retired. So I just kind of floated around, and I started getting gigs. I mean, like I said, I started actually playing in school. So by the time I got out, I mean, I could play 3 or 4, times a week if I wanted to. And there were plenty of places to play, and I could travel some. I played with this guy named Jeff Harbaugh. That there was a bar called 1048 in Montgomery, and we played like every Tuesday night there. It's Hood and Harbaugh.
Hood and Harbaugh.
It was. Oh man, the craziest nights of my life in that place, man.
Montgomery's wild.
Yeah, some of it was. Yeah, the nights that were slow
That's
were
like
way crazy.
You know, like when you first start playing music and all your friends are like in your small town, they're like gun ho. They're like, dude, so and so's playing, we're going. And all your friends come, and like 2 or 3 years later, you're like, man, where are my friends?
We was gonna come see you play, man, but we got a cake party down there and so and so.
I mean, one of my best friends went to school at Troy. And that was the same thing. He was like, man, come on down. We're going to party. We're going to play. And you going to play. And I would go down there and I'd book gigs and it'd be dead. And I'd be like, where y'all at? He said, man, we's going to come. But there's a keg party at so-and-so's house. So we didn't show up, you know. So
it's like, man, fuck y'all.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
What was more productive in the early days, having gigs at the college bars or playing the frat parties?
The frat parties paid.
And they were probably guaranteed to have people there.
Yeah, and that was kind of my first experience with like agents. You know, I mean, there still are. There are just the same way there are agencies that handle weddings,
like Music Garden and all those.
Crescent Moon and Music Garden. I mean, they're still there. You know, and so that was the scenario with that. So you could book bars yourself, and you could book some fraternity parties by yourself, but usually the fraternity parties, they were the ones that were contracted. And
what kind of music were you playing back then?
I played. Oh man, I played pretty eclectic.
I know. In one podcast, I heard you mention you want to play this Vince Gill, baby.
I mean, I did. I had Vince Gill songs in my set, which is pretty. That was.
Give me just one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, a little bit out of my song register back then. But I was doing that. I was really into Steve Earle. I was still into John Hyatt then. And, you know, man, I mean, Stevie Ray was still around when I was a kid, you know, and so I played all that stuff, like anything that was that. And then, you know, there were the Poisons and the Extremes and stuff like that, you know. But
when did you get into songwriting? Like, was it like a automatically, you know, thing from, you know, beginning, like something you were like, I don't know, because you mentioned the guy wrote the Crystal Gale songs. Mm-hmm. Like, this is something I want to do, or
I was interested in it for a while, but it took a long time, like, you know, that John Hyatt record, that Bring the Family. I was in high school when I heard that record, and that was the record that kind of set my trajectory. But it was probably, I mean, it was a while before I really started. It took a while to get up the nerve to finish a song, and then it took a lot longer than that to get up the nerve to play it in front of people. But I mean, as soon as somebody said one tune was good, that was it. I mean, I was trying to book some studio time after that. So I'd say probably, I mean, if 17 was where I got into it, probably 21 was where I started actually playing out the songs that I wrote for people.
Yeah. When did you like bridge that gap from playing covers to go into like full time, like playing just original shows?
It was hard. Yeah. I mean, that was a process in itself. Yeah. I mean, it was really one of those things to where it was kind of, it's still a little bit of a battle.
I mean, if it wasn't for Dick down in Dallas, I'd still be trying to figure out how to do that.
You know what I mean? And you realize that, like, especially in the Southeast, that it's, and I get it. I understand. I realize that people want to, they want to hear what they want to hear, and that's what they want to hear.
And that's why you wrote Play Something We Know.
Exactly. Yeah. Because night after night, that song just, I mean, it personifies itself, you know? And so, but yeah, it took a long time. But by the time, you know, it's funny because like nobody really, I don't think anybody at home really accepted me as an original singer until I started going to Texas, you know, and I started going to Texas in like 2004.
And you're like Texas' adopted son. Yeah,
I wish they'd give me a plaque. I know Leon Russell had a plaque, and I'm not Leon Russell, but you know, man, I need to talk to somebody about that.
Yeah, I mean,
is there a tax exemption?
Did you run into an issue? Wait, did you go to Texas first, or did you come to Nashville first? Because that's like kind of the heyday of the Texas guys being like, we write our own songs. Screw these Nashville guys.
Well, and it was coincidence, really. I came in. That was like I was on when I started going to Texas was right about the time when Ragweed started taking off.
Yeah.
You know, when Ragweed and Pat and those guys took off, that was right about the time I started going over there. And it wasn't my intention to go over there because of that. I did because my manager lived in outside of Austin. And so, you know, he said, I want to get you over here for South by Southwest. And that was all. I mean, we went to a barbecue house and I heard Steve Earle and I said, this is the place that, you know, he was playing on the overhead, and I said, it was like that Blind Melon video where the little girl walks into the the field of bees. That was me. So, but yeah, and I did that, and it was all downhill from there. Yeah.
You went on tour with Leon Russell, right?
I did. I toured with him for 3 years. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was really cool. I mean, I went first time ever was.
How young were you then?
This was 05 through 07. So. Okay. That was what, 20 years ago? Yeah, something like that. So yeah.
So was that like your 20s. First like, okay, I'm doing this?
That was my first like national on the road myself. And I mean, dude, I was renting cars and following him in a bus. I mean, you know, first time I'd ever been to New York, first time I'd ever been to LA, first time I'd ever played Green Hall. I mean, that was the first time I'd ever really seen the country. So yeah,
for about 3 years, man, that had to be a lot of growing.
It was a lot. It was really kind of a trial by fire.
Were you married then or no?
I was out of that marriage by then. Yeah. So probably 25 was probably when that split up. So that was kind of, I mean, you know, that was really the thing that kind of set me off. You know, I said, if I ain't got a reason to stick around, I'm out. I'm on the road, you know, and so I'm going to do as much as I can. And I mean, I had my daughter, you know, and so I came home. I came home more as much as I could, you know, but I knew that it had to be done, you know. Yeah. And so I pounded pavement.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
So what was after that?
So those gigs got me. So Birmingham got me to Texas. Texas got me to L.A., and I made a record with Pete Anderson. That was a different groove record. We made that in 07. And that record got me to Nashville, basically. So I kind of went to Nashville the most indirect way I possibly could.
What an odd path when you start out a few hours south of Nashville.
Well, did it ever cross your mind to come to Nashville, or you're like, I'm just kind of doing something a little bit different? Or what?
It always crossed my mind. It still crosses my mind, you know. Yeah. But I always kind of told myself, I just saw so many guys come up here and just blow it, you know. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I knew I didn't have the chops to come up here, and I always said, you know, I'm not gonna go to Nashville, and I'm not gonna put my feet down in Nashville until I got a reason to. Let that be a job, a publishing deal, whatever it was. And that was kind of what I did, you know. I mean, so after that record, I met Miranda Lambert in Texas, and she got me my deal with Frank. And so, you know, that was my first year at Carnival. I think I signed with them, and I looked at the paperwork today. I signed in 2008.
Yeah, and you stay with Miranda's mom when you go out there?
I do, yeah. I stay with her. They're her parents are our god grandparents. Oh yeah, yeah. So awesome. They have an interesting relationship with the girls. Yeah,
that's cool.
But they got like a you know, I mean, anybody that's a parent of someone like that, they got places to sleep all over the damn place, man. So yeah.
That's really
cool. That's kind of where my crash pad is, you know.
So just a couple of notable things that I know that Adam's done, and he's a real humble guy. He doesn't talk about it much. I know you wrote the song with Chris Stapleton.
The Little Big Town song.
The Little Big Town song. So when did that happened? Probably right around the time I met you, or was that before that?
I feel like it was around that time because I know I had that song. Yeah. And so that song, Front Porch Thing, was on The Shape of Things. And so that record, that record has a lot of cuts on it. Like Grandpa's Farm's on that one. Yep. Let's see, what else is on that one? Tennessee Wheels on that one.
And what's his name cut that song too?
John Corbett.
Well, yeah, but
Charlie. Yeah. He did a great job with it too.
Great, man. Crushed it.
That's kind of a special song. You know what I mean? Like I could have. That's one that when Jay did that record, when Jay said Charlie's going to cut it, I didn't say anything. I was like, okay, if this isn't any good, I'm gonna say it. You know what I mean? Because that's a special song, and man, it was great. He knocked it out of the park. So yeah, but that was around that time, and I'd had a few cuts like when Front Porch Thing got recorded. I think I had a song that a guy named Danny Goki cut, maybe one or two more.
I remember Danny Goki from American Idol.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He cut a song I wrote with Joanna Cotton, who sings with Church, and Greg Barnhill. And it was a good tune, and but the Stapleton one, that was the first wall hanger. That was the first one that I got a platinum record with.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah,
and that's like I remember seeing Chris Stapleton play at Zydeco for 189 people.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, and then a year later, he's on the CMAs, and now he's Chris fucking Stapleton.
I mean, it really did, for something that took so long to sort of ramp up. Like, I mean, it was, it was kind of like the world discovered what we already knew.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in town knew that he was a monster.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
I mean, I used to sit around and watch his YouTube videos of him. Like,
it's just effortless.
He's like in a bar, nobody's really listening. He's like, "Yeah, I wrote this song for Kenny Chesney. He bought me a house." And he plays it.
Yeah.
What was this band called? That was what, the Steel
Drivers.
Still Drivers, and then there was the Johnson Brothers.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that those Johnson Brothers. Is it two? They got two records or one? I know there's one that's out on iTunes because we were listening to it the other day. I didn't realize that stuff was even released.
Yeah,
it's good, man.
It's good. It's rock and roll.
It's like rock Stapleton.
Yeah, that's all the way.
Yeah. What's which college town in Alabama had the wildest fraternities? What was the party town? Because I like Auburn the best personally. Like I when we go the towns that I've been in, I enjoy Auburn more than Tuscaloosa. I haven't been to Troy or Jacksonville though. So
Troy was wild, but Troy was a suitcase college, and so the same thing. Like if everybody was going to your show, it was a ball. But if someone else was playing, like the same thing. I mean, it was everybody was in one spot in Troy. Auburn was home, and so it was always kind of different for me. Alabama was a lot of fun then. I don't play anywhere in Tuscaloosa now.
Where in Tuscaloosa were you playing?
There was a place called the Booth. And I mean, man, everybody and their mama played.
We played
the booth.
Yes, you know what I mean. Brittany said she wants to see John Mayer
on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Plus the door, but they only could fit like 80 people in there, so you're basically only getting $400.
I'm sure. I think they had like cheap paps or something like that. Like that was the deal.
The last cover gig we ever played was at what's the name of that place?
Innisfree?
I think it was Copper Top.
Oh yeah, Copper Top. Yeah, that place is still there.
That was the week that Dick Down and Down, or the week before Dick Down and Down.
Is that right?
Yeah. Because you had texted me, you were like, "Man, if I'd known you were in town, I'd have came out."
You also shit your pants that night, Trey.
Damn, thanks for reminding
Wish you
me.
hadn't come up, man. Glad you didn't come out. I shit my pants.
We talk a lot about shitting our pants on this
You
podcast.
dropped
All kinds of crazy.
you dropped us off
gotta
at
go.
Terry's house, and you said, "Yep, I'm heading back to Nashville."
Oh yeah. I was driving back to Nashville, and I got right there, and what's that, like Morgansville or some shit like that? Morgan County. Like,
So you were sitting down.
I was driving the van,
Oh, that's the worst, man.
and like I had sweatpants on because it was cold
that's
outside.
the worst.
I wanted to be comfortable. It went through my sweatpants into the seat.
So that's the stain that's in the seat to this.
There's one on the passenger
man.
seat from when we were coming back.
Oh, I remember that. I remember when we were coming back.
We
from
were almost home, and we had to stop Lebanon, so I could.
Feel sorry for
So you could-
whoever's
what
buying
did
that
you
van
do?
next.
It's like, it's like driving
need a
naked.
van, Adam.
No, I'm good. I'll get some seat covers for
What
you.
was like the biggest like grind when you were going those early days where you talk about renting the car? Like what was the most like where you guys were like packed in, where you were traveling with a band?
I didn't do a whole lot of band shows, but once I want to say between after Different Groove, we did the best that we could to put a band together. So it was me and Justin Johnson and Patrick Lunsford, who plays drums for me still sometimes, and this guy named Keegan Reed. And Keegan's from San Antonio, and they had a van, like they had a passenger van. And so Keegan was the bass player, and I mean, we did that, and as soon as we got in that van, like gas went to $3 a gallon. And this was like like 06, something like that. So
Were you guys pulling a trailer, or were you fitting everything in the van with you?
Yeah, I mean, we
Take the seats out, put your shit in
that whole
there.
thing. Yeah,
Did you ever have to sleep in the van?
I slept in the car. I slept in my car plenty. Yeah, we never had to sleep in the van, and that was because of the fact that, like, I feel like that if I can credit myself for anything, I really tried to, be intentional with band stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I've never really gone full force. Let's lose a pile of money on this. I can lose a pile of money on myself, But those years with Leon, those were the ones I probably lost the money, because I mean they were all like, it was all $100. I mean, in fact, I did a West Coast thing. I went to the West Coast with Leon a couple of times, and the first year I went was when we were recording Different Groove. So I had shows with Leon there. I stayed an extra couple of days to record the Different Groove record, and then I left and went to I had San Francisco, Portland, and Bellingham, Washington. And I got to San Francisco, and I was I was $1 short to get across the Golden Gate Bridge. I had $2 in my pocket and it cost $3. And so the girl behind me like begrudgingly gave me $1 and I made it through. And I was like, Lord, just please, can I just let me make enough money at this? Same thing. It wasn't a Leon Russell gig. It was just a pickup gig to get me to Portland. And so I did that, and I sold one CD. So that means I had $5 when I got back across. And so I had enough money to get back across out of San Francisco with $2 left over. And then I hit another toll booth and I was broke after that. Yeah. And so that was as rough as it was.
Just run straight through it, or what?
I think I actually stopped and said something. I was like, because I was young and, sir, I don't have any money, sir.
Yeah.
I just want you to just be nice to me. And he was like, man, we take pictures of your license. We'll send you a bill. Yeah. So,
and coming from Alabama and going up to the West Coast, that had to be something too. Going out to San Francisco, all them hills, just a whole different world. Was it a different world back then like it is now? It
was a different world, yeah. And just for me, that was the thing. It was, all this stuff was new, and like cities were new, everything, like just traffic and just how to sort of navigate through all this stuff, how to navigate through sound check and
different accents.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I was a hick.
Did people ask you to say something twice?
Some people thought I was from Australia. They just did.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently the Southern and Australian accents are very similar.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
They're real hicks down there.
Yeah. The real Southerners.
Yeah. How did you meet your wife?
She was, okay, so Justin, speaking of, opened this bar called Pale Eddie's. You may have played that place.
Yeah, I have a Pale Eddie story.
I played the grand opening, and she had just moved home. She lived in like Beaver Creek, Colorado, for a couple of years, and I think her granddad got sick, and then her sister had their first child, and so we met right there at that place.
That's awesome. I used to do the WCZK shows at Rogue Tavern next door.
Next door, yeah,
all the time. And I'll never forget one time I was over in Pale Eddie's. And I was over there, just talking about myself like I was hot shit to the bartender. And the bartender was like, my husband plays music. And I was like, really? I was like, what's his name? She goes, Adam Hood. And I was like, well, I feel like a fucking idiot.
Was she about 6 months pregnant?
Yeah, she was. I think so, yeah.
I mean, she worked that job until she had Drew. So, yeah. Which is impressive. I can't believe they let like a fully 8 month pregnant woman.
Because during that time,
they will though. Apparently,
yeah.
During that time, you were writing with like Gary and Charlie, and you were, like.
I was done. Like that was as soon as I got the publishing deal. That was it. I said I'm never playing music in front of people again.
Really?
I was officially. I'd had enough. I was burnt out. That the year that Different Groove came out. That came out in like 2007. And we did over 300 shows that one year. Oh, wow. So granted,
that's a lot of shows.
It's a lot of shows for me. I got a lot of buddies.
That's a lot of shows for anybody. That's like BJ Barnum, American Aquarium numbers.
That's what I was going to say. BJ, they've done it for 12 years, but it. I don't know. I think BJ may have a different work ethic. I know he does. He has a different work ethic than I do. So
when you got your kids too, man, and.
Yeah. And I had like I said, Ash was kind of, in her formative years then. She'll be 24 in October. So she's, for all intents and purposes, she's an adult now, but that was when she was growing up. And just everything was haphazard. We didn't know what we were doing, I had no idea. And God forbid we had any help, it was just kind of, well, you guys figure it out. And so, then... Like I said, I got that publishing deal, and I said, I'm not doing this anymore. And so the Pale Eddie's gig, what I would do was I would come up here, I would write Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And so Thursday night, I would play Fat Daddy's in Auburn, or I would play that Pale Eddie's or somewhere like that. And I would take all these new songs and I'd try them out, and I learned a lot. There's a part of me that wishes I could do that, and I guess I could, but like I also, I had an hour on Thursday nights where I would try new stuff out, and then I'd just pound Jaeger the rest of the night. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was good. It was really beneficial, but it was also pretty ugly too.
And then you teamed up with like Eric Dillon and Channing and Dave, and y'all did that
the Dark Horses thing.
Tour.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was so cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty short lived though.
Yeah,
I think the four of us together were pretty toxic.
Yeah, it's like,
we were toxic to each other, but to our families. Yeah,
Channing played Black Jesus, and he was like, "I'm still working on the sequel, Black Penis." And I was like, I just remember that being the funniest thing ever.
funny.
You got sober not long after that, huh?
I did, yeah. That was
Being on the road with them boys, just
I mean, kind of was
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, in fact, it was kind of, the shit that happened was really kind of a lot of the reason why I said enough is enough, I mean, and it was just because of the fact that I just, how it is. You don't drink. And I mean, I don't beat it over anybody's head. I mean, I hang out in bars, same thing,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just my choice. And I mean,
did it just get, I guess it just, did it get real bad and you were just like, I got to try and do something different? Or did you try to quit and like it didn't stick? Or you were just like, once you were done, you were done?
I was done.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we never drank at home or anything like that. The only time I ever drank was on the job.
Yeah,
and so
and I
it
feel
was easy
like-
for me.
Yeah, and I feel like this job, it's like almost accustomed to like get just blackout drunk.
And the funny thing is, I don't know why it's that way because of the fact that like when I quit, I mean, I decided to quit doing it and no one ever said a word to me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought to myself for so many years, I thought, oh Lord, what's everybody going to say? What are they going to say? Nobody said anything. One time, and I mean, this has been 3.5 years. One time a dude bought me a beer. And that's it. He just bought me a beer because he didn't know I wasn't drinking anymore. This was in the first year. And other than that, no one said anything. No one's tried to buy me shots. No one's cussed me out for not accepting their alcohol. Nothing.
Yeah.
Which tells me something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which tells me that
it's all in your mind.
Yeah. And I was obviously enough of a wreck to where people are probably glad to see that the shows are a whole lot better.
And I think too, like where I run into a problem with not drinking is like in the writing room for me when I'm writing songs for myself. Because every country song says cold beer on a John boat. It's just like I would rather just not say I'm gonna
You kind of got to walk the walk.
Kind of got to walk the walk.
Yeah. But Troy Jones was, he wrote Shift Work and pretty good at drinking beer, and Troy had been sober for years, you know, which was interesting to me. But Troy had a different perspective, but he was the only guy that I knew that could do that. But I never drank. I don't know why. Like that's the only time I really want to be as completely sober as humanly possible, because I don't know. I don't know why. It's not a standard or anything like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think because I sort of second guess myself bad enough on when I'm writing to where I don't need anything other than, I don't need any kind of outside influence to make me second guess myself. Well, this song sucks because you're drunk. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't, that's the one place I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah. Were you sober for what's your last record? What's it called?
Somewhere in Between?
Oh, Somewhere in Between. Were you
No.
You weren't?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because that came out.
I fucking love that record, by the way.
Thank you.
If
Thank
y'all haven't checked it out, go check it out.
Please.
It's great.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm pumped for the next one because I'm like,
Yeah.
to me, that was your best record that I've heard yet.
This one's good.
So I know the next one's going to be great. But let's talk about harder stuff real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that song.
Thanks.
So you're taking on the harder stuff.
I'm taking on the harder stuff,
now
right?
that you're sober.
I know, yeah. And that was pretty much, Davis and I were on the road somewhere, and this was the first year that this was in my first probably 9 months of not drinking. And there were a few landmarks that I said if I can get past this, and this, then I'll be okay. One of them was Steamboat, the music fest in Steamboat. If I can go to Steamboat and make it all the way through Steamboat without drinking, I'm good. If I can make it through all the way through Mile Zero without drinking, I'm good. And there was a benefit that they used to do on Labor Day in Fort Worth that said if I can make it through this one without drinking, I'm good. And that was the benefit was the first one. And it was just one of those things where like, everybody was there, they did it at Billy Bob's. It was the one thing that everybody came together for. And so it was, it was a shit show by the end of the night.
Yeah.
And so, but that was the first one that was really hard. And so, just because, everybody's blasting, here I am sober.
Yeah,
and
it's like you can't have a coherent conversation with
very,
anybody.
very true.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
say something
Yes.
to them, and then they're
Everybody
like,
says things,
on
that's
back.
right.
And it's
Repeating
like,
themselves 4 or 5 times, and oh man, I must have said something wrong. You didn't say anything wrong. What are you talking about? And just the whole scenario. And so I had enough, and I said, that's it. I'm going to my room. And so I got in my room, and Davis walked in. He said, okay. He said, I got this idea, and he played the chorus, and I was like, man, that's good. And so the next day we finished it, but the second verse I wasn't really all that happy with. We just had to quit then. And so when it came time to make the record, that was the one song that was undone, really. And so Charlie and Brent and I sat down and wrote it and then recorded it the next day. Nice. Yeah.
So how did you get Miranda on that one?
That was Brent. Brent asked her.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I try to save up, you know what I mean, until it's really important. So I never really asked that favor of her.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he called and he said, well, I think Miranda's going to sing on that song. And so she did. And she was real cool about the feature. I mean, again, you know, she was somebody that she heard me play once. She got me a job. You know, they've always, I mean, if there's somebody who's really believes in what I do, I'd say she does, you know, as much as anybody does. Yeah. And so, I mean, the opportunity was a great one for her to participate in. And she's in a good place in her career, too, you know.
I was talking to Davis, I guess last week, on the phone. He was telling me it's doing great on the Americana charts. Is that right?
The Americana charts are doing good. I mean, this was, I think, last time we checked, it was inside the top 20, and I want to say
let's go, baby. Let's go.
So that's the first time that anybody's really. That's the first song that I've had that I could say has gotten that far up on the Americana chart. Yeah. We've always done stuff in Texas, but same thing. I mean, you know, I mean, inside top 10.
What's the song Rolling Stone? You wrote that one?
Yeah, I wrote that.
That's a Texas #1, right?
And then I wrote Sing About Mine. That was Josh Abbott had a #1 with that. So I wrote a couple of #1s, but never
one as an artist. How good does that feel?
Pretty awesome.
After all the shit you've been through.
It's pretty awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
Feels good, man.
It does feel good.
It feels good, and I'm just a fan. You know?
Yeah, thanks.
I'm just like, man, you're getting Adam Hood's finally getting what Adam Hood deserves.
It really is. I mean, it's, you know, it's that's the pat on the back that you, man, God, dog, you need that shit, man. I mean, I really do, because you know how it is. I mean, but I've noticed, especially since harder stuff's come out, like, you know, I mean, I get messages weekly. You know, man, I heard that song on the radio. I had to pull over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that means you did your job right there.
Exactly.
That's when you did your job.
You know, that's when it's just more important than anything else. You realize that you know that something bigger than you is happening, and that makes me feel a whole lot better about the things that are, you know, like we were talking about. You know, when there's some sort of a copyright issue and somebody's publishing house calls, and you know, this was, you know what I mean?
We don't have to talk about it, but you did have like a little thing with Spotify there for a while, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that was a big thing with Spotify. And the thing is, like, we can talk all about it because it was public record, you know. So this happened when the whole lawsuit was kind of getting settled. And so Blue Water, which is the company that handles the administration for Carnival, they said, well, okay, now that we have a rate settled, you owe us back pay. And Spotify said, no, we don't. And Blue Water said, well, pull it down. And this was the year that everybody did their year-end results. All my records disappeared. And so I not only did I not have year-end results, I didn't exist. You know, like I wasn't even on Spotify at all. None of my music was for 2 years. Oh, wow. Yeah. And so, and two probably of the most important years. I mean, like I said, this was, you know, you saw it. I mean, everybody was like, year-end results. Here's how many things we did. I didn't even have any record of that. And so, you know, we went to Blue Water and we said, look, this is terrible. And they said, well, just trust us. And, you know, it said, you know, this will get solved, and when it does, you'll be glad. And we were. I mean, it cut my draw in half, you know. So it was settled, and my stuff finally got back up there, and you know, we're off to the races again. But it was a really scary time, man. Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing we could do. You know, I mean, they, you know, they said, well, you know, you can take this to the highest court if you want to, you know, but it's your lawyers versus our lawyers versus their lawyers, you know. And I mean, I didn't have that. I didn't have that kind of power.
Spotify money.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
So I've noticed, you know, one thing I've always respected about you, and I don't respect you less, but I've always respected that you're just an album guy. You know, you've always done just the album thing. It's one piece of art worked together. Yeah. I've noticed here lately you've been putting out the singles. So what's the decision behind that? Just trying something different, I guess.
Well, and we started putting out those first 3 singles. Yes, I mean it's the structure, you know. And I realized that when the last record, because with Americana, like the Somewhere in Between stayed on the Americana chart for 22 weeks. Wow, and that was it. Like, that was the cycle of the album. And so here I was, I'd put 11 songs out, and we were 22 weeks into it, and it was done. And I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And so, that was kind of when we started rethinking things. Mm-hmm. And it's not really rethinking things. I've got guys that release. Well, we went in and redid Different Groove with Gordy Quist as a band of heathens, and that's
Oh yeah,
yeah. So it'll be cool. And we had a lot of talk about that stuff, and because Gordy and them, I mean, he kind of said the same thing, and they're album guys as well. But they released 4 to 6 singles before the album comes out. Then they put the album. And so as long as we can still do that. As long as I can still have something that's a singular body of work, I don't mind putting stuff out initially.
Giving people a little taste.
So
of it.
Totally, absolutely.
Harder Stuff, and is it Pinecone? Is that right?
Pinecones will not be on the new record, but Harder Stuff will be.
Harder Stuff will be. Cool.
Pinecones is, man, it's really basically I did that this opening line thing. We did that with the Banded guys, and so it was one of those things where we got studio time, and they said, well, if you're going to cut one, cut 3. And so we did. We cut that one, cut Opening Line, Mo Damn Crickets, and Pine Cones. And they were we recorded them, we put them out. I mean, I had Pine Cones in my catalog for years, man.
Had it ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Or I didn't even think it was that good of a song, you know?
That's great.
But we didn't put it on the record. Brent said, I really love this song. It just doesn't fit the record. And so we recorded it anyway.
Yeah, I know I've sent you the videos, but My Kind of Country, Kid Rock's been playing that every night.
I love it.
How cool is that?
It's real.
You wrote that song
really cool.
20 years ago?
Yeah, Eric Church and I wrote that song.
Yeah. Before he was Eric Church.
Before he was Eric Church, yeah. And so, that's really cool. Those are the kind of things that you see happening. It's like, oh yeah, man. Now I got one of those under my belt. Dubois has those stories, and about Alabama cutting songs and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. But it's just same thing, kind of a fluke. I guess either Bob or his people or somebody called Ben and said, hey, you got any? We're cutting a record. What do you got? And Ben said he went to Carnival's catalog and just typed in rock, and that was one of them that came up. And so he sent it to them. They cut it. Yeah, pretty funny.
I wrote this song. You got a pee?
Ponder, the smallest bladder this side of the Mississippi.
For the listeners, I wrote this song called 100 Miles of Highway, and I wrote it with Jordan Walker and Matt McKinney. And I don't know, once I got the mix back, I listened to it like over and over and over again, and I was like, dude, it would be cool if Adam Hood would, Yeah,
I listened to that in my files. Like I'm heavily in demo or master jail with that. That's one of my favorite Trey Lewis songs.
I'd say it's one of my favorites too.
Yeah,
love it.
So
I just kill it.
I just was like, fuck it. I was like, me and Adam are friends, but like I know he's got a lot of shit going on, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna send it to him, see what he says. And you were like, yeah.
I don't ever have that much going on.
And you actually like the song, so I thought
it's a great song, man. Yeah. It's a great song.
I think so too. Yeah, man. It's cool.
Well, I appreciate.
And I love how the second verse works. You know what I mean? It's like different.
It was really appropriate. I mean, it was good thinking on your part.
Yeah. I got a couple good ideas.
You got some good. He come up with some cool things.
He knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
I know something here now.
And it's honestly weird, like, after being not successful with music for so long, to be somewhat successful with like making the right calls.
Don't you feel like that? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not Trey Lewis successful yet, though. I
don't know about all that. No.
However, it is
the thing that that really is cool to me is that all your peers, man, they respect the shit out of you.
Thank you.
I mean, how does that feel?
Brittany and I talk about this a lot. I knew that I was going to have to either get the appreciation of masses of people or the respect of my peers, and I chose the respect of my peers. And I mean, had I chose the other way, I'd be complaining about something. You
might be singing about dicks and butt fucks.
There you go. See, I'm not doing another butt fucking song. That's a good point.
We can edit that out if you don't want your kids to see it.
But it's true. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's neat that I have the career I wanted. But at the same time, just like what you're talking about, you have the career you wanted. What's your problem? Like I kind of have there's not a day that goes by that I wake up with an excuse to be pissed about anything. As much as I want to be pissed, it's like, this is what you asked for. You navigated your way into this. You might as well try to figure out how to navigate your way around it.
But it's never enough, right?
It's never enough.
It's never
and
enough.
Situations are always situations, and I wish I had this when I have this, and until I get this, and then I wish I had it the other way. I don't know why life works that way. I wish it didn't. I wish we could understand everything in real time, but I guess it wouldn't be so precious if we did.
Right,
So,
you're right.
But I mean, yeah, it is. It really is a good feeling. It's a weird feeling to sort of the ultimate irony is the fact that like nowadays, you have to tell people that you wrote songs. You know what I mean? Like nobody knows. Nobody knows that we wrote anything. Nobody knows that like that, that Muscadine record. I mean, it got 5-6 songs on it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that shit. I could go open for those guys and nobody would know who I am,
Yeah, but it's like you don't want to be that guy. It's like, I wrote 6 songs.
I know,
for
and
Muscadine.
that's the thing. It's hard to do. It's hard to not do those things because you want people to know.
Hey
that
man,
kind
you
of
want to
stuff.
write? I wrote 6 songs on Muscadine.
Look what. Hey, everybody! Thank y'all. Here's another one I wrote for so and so. Here's another Miranda Lambert song.
Yeah.
Here's another song Chris Stapleton I wrote.
That's not you.
Yeah.
It's not. I have to really make a conscious effort for it to not be that way.
Yeah, you had a couple cuts on the double Miranda record, right?
I got one on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Brent and I wrote that song. And the funny thing is, she got me that job, but we wrote that song 2 weeks after I was done with my Carnival deal. Like I was just out of my deal. I wrote it at Carnival, out of my Carnival contract. Yeah.
That's wild.
So yeah, it's pretty.
So you own all the publishing on it?
I signed with Low Country and it became scheduled. Oh, they wrote that thing in the contract. They were like, her name is in the Low Country contract. They had a cut cents from that. So.
I got to talk. We got to talk about something on your. We talked about you stepping up your TikTok game here recently. Your daughter loves ketchup, huh?
Oh man, you see that?
Have y'all seen the video?
I have not.
She put ketchup on
a banana.
Ketchup on the banana's rough.
Whoa.
Man. Yeah.
You can hear Adam like gagging while he's like filming.
Ugh.
Man, it's rough. That one. I mean, she would eat ketchup. She'll eat ketchup on her grapes. Like she's not so she'll be 4 on the 19th. She's almost 4. And so she'll eat, ketchup on strawberries isn't the strangest thing in the world. I've heard a lot of people say that their kids do that. The grapes isn't all that weird either, but the banana.
You're like,
I mean, she took it and like dipped it in the ketchup and then put that.
Have you introduced her to like lots of pasta with like tomato, like the tomato sauce and stuff?
She
So she's a ketchup fan. She'll love
like
that shit.
Chick-fil-A French fries. Like they won't
as
eat French
gross as
fries.
it looks.
They don't eat waffle fries.
as gross as it looked.
I know.
As gross as it looked, it was still cute.
It was cute, but it was gross, man. I mean, that one was rough.
You're
That
like,
was
I'm
rough.
letting this go too far.
Yeah, we got to stop this.
So how many kids total do you have?
3.
Okay. And your first daughter is 24 now.
Yeah, she's almost 24.
And the others are
Drew is 6, and Edie's almost 4.
yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. All girls.
Yeah. So I mean that's I envy that, man. You got an awesome wife. You've got kids. You have a career.
Thanks.
How do you navigate all that?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
And I heard Donovan Woods talking about the same thing. It's just, man, no one does this easily. And I mean, there's a million different ways to do it. Like I guess Chris Jensen, like he takes his kids on the road with him. And I think to myself, like that would be great. But then your kids will be on the road with you all the time. And you need some separation from them every now and then, And, but, too much is too much. I mean, it's hard to leave them. But again, it's hard to leave them. But at the end of the day, they understand that it was probably tougher for Ashlyn because of the fact that like she's probably 3 or 4 years old, and then I was gone. Like the girls, Drew and Edie, they've grown up with it, and I mean they don't like it, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I mean I know my limits. 5 days is enough. 10 days I can't do it anymore. Like a month on, a month off, I can't do it just because of the
poor
fact.
wife.
I know exactly. I mean she can't do it. I mean and she's a great mom, but I mean nobody can. You're outnumbered.
Yeah, it's like our bass player Mitch just had a baby. Last week? and he's back on the road with us this weekend.
Really?
You
It's
know?
hard, man. Especially when they're that age too, because like it's constant. You know, you're just not the most important thing, but it's what feeds us. You know, and
Yeah.
so that's we my wife works, but I am the major source of income, and so if my time off is great, and I'm proud of it, but I can't have too much of it. You know,
Yeah.
I can't have a month of it. You know, so
you only get to go hunting once.
I know. Yeah, I get one shot every deer season. In fact, I want to say like the first year that Drew was born, I had a big turkey season. I went a bunch, and like by April 30th, it was like, oh no, we're in the red. You know what I mean? So I've kind of learned my lesson there. But my dad was like that. You know, he was a forester, and granted, he had a little bit of an in because he worked outdoors, but. He would save up his vacation in the first week of, he would take the whole vacation first week of turkey season. So, and then the rest he would, go when he could. And so I do that. But this is a good job to do that kind of stuff. Like the outdoor world is pretty symbiotic with country music, strangely enough. Like, for obvious reasons, but relationship wise, it's a really cool kind of cross pollination. You know what I mean? Well, like, we did that country outdoors thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like that
was
works,
cool. That was the first time we ever fumbled through 100 miles of highway.
It sure
together.
was. That's right. I think I messed up.
I think I messed up too.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of different, like, slight changes in it.
Yeah,
that will mess you up.
the cadence of those lyrics.
But the
is
recording
interesting.
sounds great.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, the recording sounds great. That's all we need.
I think it sounds good too.
I think it'll be cool to eventually, once we get that song out, man, get some shows together again.
I'd love to do it, man.
That'd be great.
I mean, I'll do it anytime. I'll come out. I'll sing Dick Down Dallas. We don't give a shit.
Let's go.
I'll do it.
Dude,
Play bass on Dick
Adam
Down
Hood
Dallas.
singing Dick Down Dallas would like make my whole
Did
career.
you see his dance on Instagram?
I saw a picture of you with your guitar and you're just hunching on
Yeah.
it the way you were.
Yeah.
I told Brittany, I said, look at this.
Gotta
I'm
get
going
you
to see
some
him
dance-
tomorrow.
You're like, that's who I'm going to hang out with.
Get you one of them foam single again middle fingers, one of them kiss my ass goodbyes. You wave it around with the
I could
boys.
get that. That's a good idea. That's cool. Oh, man. That's funny. Yeah, old Hunchy. He's hunching over on his guitar.
So
We
do
do
you
have some shirts over here that,
so do you plan to when do you plan to put out this record? Do you have a date on it yet or no?
September 16th, yeah.
Okay, so
Let's
we know
go.
for sure.
September 16th, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When's it going to be up for pre-order and pre-save and all that? Do
I
you
think
know?
so. We're doing one more single. I think we're going to do it the 22nd. And I don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that's when we're going to sort of start the pre-orders. But we may not. I think we're a little bit behind the 8 ball. And so instead of it, we may just give it 1 month worth of pre-orders, and I think that may operate a little bit better in my world because 1 month of impulsive pre-orders may.
Now, we don't have a ton of viewers here, but everybody that watches this show is a diehard.
That's awesome.
So y'all be sure to follow Adam and
Please.
and pre-save and pre-order his album when it comes out. It's probably going to be like $12 on iTunes.
question. I don't know. I would
probably something.
assume. Yeah.
There's
I think-
nothing you can't afford.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah,
2 cups of
Chipotle
Starbucks
tomorrow.
coffee. Yeah.
Starbucks, yeah. Just skip Starbucks.
Two
for 2 days.
gallons of diesel.
There you go. Exactly.
We want to see that
man.
thing go number 1, baby.
I do. I
Deserves it.
I'd love to see that happen. I mean, if there was a record that deserved to really kind of soar, this would be the one.
Yeah. Are you touring a lot here lately or not really? Or
It's not really touring as much as it is just playing shows.
That's
Yeah.
what I always say. I don't say we tour because like we go out every weekend, but it's not like
That's not touring. It is, but it's not. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I consider touring like you.
you're gone for a month
Yeah.
or 2.
So I'm probably never tour,
Yeah.
but I'll always play.
Playing shows.
But we have and even that with CD release shows, man, I've never had my luck with CD release stuff has always been, you kind of set yourself up for failure that way, you know? So I've got shows that are kind of in and around, September 16th, that's Americana Fest.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be in town.
Perfect timing,
Perfect
yeah.
timing. I don't know that we even intended on it to be that way, but nonetheless,
how weird has it been transitioning from? Because you sold CDs back in the day, right? Mm-hmm.
Still ordering
Still
CDs.
CDs and vinyl still in Americana.
The fans will
world,
buy them.
right?
Absolutely.
Still.
Because
Yeah.
it's cheaper than vinyl. And I mean, at the end of the day, vinyl is pretty high maintenance, but yeah, they just buy it. They buy it the same way they'll buy a koozie. You know what I mean?
And they'll have you sign it after the show.
Yeah, it's just something. I mean,
I guess-
it's just it's an avenue of support, which is really nice because most people don't even have a way to play a CD anymore, but they'll still buy
They'll
it.
still buy it to have it. I mean, I know when I was a kid, I used to just look through the pamphlets and everything.
I know.
And the artwork. That was a whole thing. I guess more of what I'm saying. How weird has it been? You've been playing music for how long now?
Gosh, 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
How has it been so like watching it all change?
It's been really interesting, and for everything that's kind of been upended, it really is nice to have like unlimited access to like, I mean, man, I can go find Delbert and Glenn. I can go find Rhythm Aces songs that I would have never heard. You know what I mean?
You don't have a CD book in your car. You're like,
I don't have to go down to Radio Shack and spend $12 to buy something just because I want to hear Night Moves.
Go to Tower Records and wait and dig through the bin and hope that they have it.
That's right. Yeah, maybe this one will be on sale. And so it like that's the beauty in it. Like everything. Number one, everything is at your fingertips. Number two, it's the process. It's kind of leveled the playing field as far as that goes. Like it's cheap to make a record. Number one, you can make a record. You and I could make a record, very easily. There was a time when you had to have a record label to make a record, and so that you can do that. You can do it in a studio, or you can do it in your garage, and so you can take that record that you did in your garage, and you can load it up to Spotify, and you're off to the races. Like
you don't need the radio guy playing your song. You can.
It's great to have it, but at the same time, it's none of that's necessary. None of it is.
Anybody can access it anywhere.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That in itself is. It really it's. And granted, I heard the same thing. I heard people talk about how it kind of it's affected the value of music. Yeah, it has. Yeah. But what's the value of music been? You know what I mean? It was a number one was $400,000 in '95 or whatever. But was it really?
And that's too like another thing that kind of like not chaps my ass, but it's like, it's like I'm an independent artist, but it's like we're not really independent artists. We have a team of. We're basically operating like a small label. I got Bonner over here doing stuff. I got my manager doing stuff.
I have Texas Radio. I have Americana Radio. I have a publicist. Yeah, the same thing like you're talking about. Like I own my own record label. I own my own publishing now. But everything is in house, but everything is kind of subcontracted. I can't do that myself. There's a lot of things I can do myself, but just because I can do it doesn't mean I want to. It's like I don't want to produce my own records. I don't feel the need to have that kind of control. I like being able to go in and work with other people. I want someone else's perspective.
Exactly.
It's never served me wrong.
Yeah. It's like I have just like a team of people around me to do this or to do that, so I can focus on recreating that to be able to do it. Because I'm always thinking, okay, I know I'm going to go in December and January, I'm cutting a full record. I want to put out a record. I want to get in record world. But like, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do after that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I got like 20 songs in the tank that I haven't even put out yet, But it's like I'm always thinking, but the people that are around me that I've surrounded myself with that work for me or, work with me, allow me to do those kind of things, because without them I can't do that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it gives you the freedom. And there are just people that are smarter than you when it comes to stuff like that. There are people that understand how TikTok works better than me. There are people that understand how the whole monetization thing works. There are people that understand algorithms, and there are people that are experts at this, and I don't have time in my day to figure that stuff out. And therefore, because I don't have time in my day to figure that stuff out, I have to figure it out the hard way, which is that. Now that really sucks, because that's going back and redoing and undoing and unlearning and all that stuff. And I'd just rather, it's a small amount to sort of put it in the right hands, and I'd just rather do it that way.
Right.
It's necessary. Even as an independent artist, no man is an island.
And it's and just for the listener, I know there's a lot of independent artists that listen to this. Everything that I'm doing now and everything you're doing now, it was a gradual thing. It didn't just happen overnight. Right. There was a time where we weren't doing it all.
Right.
When there was no manager or anything like that.
Those were rough days, though. Golly, man.
I was looking. I had a Facebook memory come up the other day. It was I sold my Honda Civic for $500. I sold some other odd end shit just so I could come up here to Nashville and record one song.
What song was it?
Whiskey Miss Me.
Oh shit! Which just is that 1 million streams?
Just hit 1 million streams.
Wow! Look at there.
Yeah. 2018. It was the day that the solar eclipse happened.
Really?
We did it at Benchmark with Chris Utley.
That's where we cut up.
And I'm writing with Chris Utley tomorrow, so it's like full circle.
Oh, yeah, it is
moment.
full circle.
Yeah.
We did Welcome to the Big World at Benchmark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a great
It's a great room,
studio.
great
Yeah.
sounds. What else, man? You got anything else exciting coming down the pipe?
Man, just this record.
Yeah.
You know, just
Yeah.
plugging away and just doing this thing. And you know, like I said, I get that a different groove thing is going to be pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bit of a ballsy move to do it. I mean, it had a lot to do with owning masters and just, you know, just need a fresh coat of paint. And Gordy and them, they had this place called the Finishing Room in Austin, and it's a house. And so they have one house where the studio is, and the other house is where you go stay. And I went to write with Gordy, and we got to talking about it. And
Is he in the Band of Heathens? Or
Okay. Gordy and Ed are the Band of Heathens.
Okay.
And so, but Jason Eady made his last record there, and just the tone of Jason's voice was as good as it's ever been. And it was one of those things where, I mean, you know, he's one of my best friends. I've listened to enough of his records to be able to go, wow, this is really good. Mm-hmm. And it was good enough to where I kind of pursued it. And this thing came up, and, you know, with this different groove thing, and you know, we got to talking about, you know, we put forth the effort to try to create new fans and get new relationships with people, but you don't really service the old ones, and service is a shitty word for it, but you don't really, you know, people that like, I mean, there's a whole different demographic of people that don't want to hear anything but Million Miles Away. Yeah. You know, they don't want to hear anything but 22 Days. They don't care what I put out since then.
How about Parker McCollum?
I know, right?
Dude,
that's pretty
that
cool.
was cool.
And, you know, I wrote with Corey Smith 2 days before that. And so, you know, Corey said, man, we're playing with Parker McCollum. And I was like, okay, well, we'll come out and see you. And so I didn't even expect to really see Parker. I've done a couple of shows with him, but, you know, we're well acquainted. But I mean, that was really awesome.
That was awesome.
You know, yeah.
For those you don't know, I guess Parker had you out. And
we went to see him in Albertville, and I, you know, talked to him for a second, and he was like, "Man, I wish you could do a song with this." And I said, "Well, I mean, you know, what covers do you do?" And I think they do like a George Strait song. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, I don't know that one." And so he said, "Man," I said, "I know Million Miles Away," and that was it. And so, you know, 10 minutes later, his tour manager walked up and said, "Come back on the bus. Parker wants to talk to you." And I mean, you know, we kind of ran through the song, and I mean, the dude knows every word to the song. You know,
dude,
it was one of those.
Cool
it was really cool. The same thing, like you're talking about. It was
probably grew up on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's really neat to sort of to be in those shoes now, to be able to say, okay, I can credit myself for
all that shit I did.
Yeah.
Wasn't for nothing.
That's right. It's helping kind of guide people's careers, you know. And I mean, the care that I put into my music is helping people care about theirs, because he sounds great, man.
Dude, he sounds great, and he should cut that fucking song.
I think 100%, 100%. I think we're writing at the end of August, which is really cool.
Hell yeah!
So yeah,
he's a good writer too, dude. He put this song out called "Hold Me." It's like Hold Me Back or something, but it's just him and Tony Lane, 50-50.
I mean, what a great writer. You know what I mean? I mean, Tony's just a...
But if you can go in with Tony Lane 50-50 and write a badass song, then you're not just a fucking Nashville artist.
Yeah.
You're a fucking good songwriter.
You're a good songwriter.
Too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't say that I would get the same thing if I walked out of there.
Man, you know, Tony and David Lee used to write. I went and wrote with them one time. They used to write every Tuesday, and I guess David lives in Texas now, but I don't remember the song that we wrote, which means it must have sucked. You know what I mean? Like, I probably obviously didn't participate, you know, so.
Sometimes it just happens like that, man.
Well, I get a little starstruck. I mean, with something like that, you know, like with Chris, that was a pretty intimidating time. And, you know, there have been a couple of people where it's like, man, I'm really nervous right now, you know?
Yeah. Are there any young writers that you're writing with right now that you're like, this guy or this girl's got some good stuff, like they have some potential to be something?
I mean, I think you can vouch for the fact that I think Ella Langley is going to be the next star.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Alabama, baby.
Yeah,
Bama versus everybody.
We're having our turn, I think.
Yeah.
You know? I went and saw her. She opened for Lainey in Tuscaloosa a couple of weeks ago, and I went and saw her, and I didn't realize that she she has the charisma on stage that she does.
Oh, she's a badass.
She owns it, man.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think she's going to be.
I mean, I always feel weird for saying this because Ella's like my little sister,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she is the triple threat. She's beautiful. She can sing and she can ride her ass
Yeah.
off. She
There
can
you
do
go.
all three.
And she, you know, she's there. I think Kylie Fry's going to be huge. Same thing. I mean, Kylie's got a good head on
got
her
that.
shoulders. She's pretty. She's,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, she's Reba McEntire basically,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so, I mean, I think especially now the women that are coming up in country music are a powerhouse.
We just did a show with Tracy Lawrence and Lainey Wilson, and watching Lainey on stage is talk about those women that are coming up.
Yeah, I got to meet Tracy Lawrence.
Did you?
Got to go on his bus.
Was that cool?
Meet the real TL.
the real TL.
Yeah, I'm just a fake one, you know. I got to meet him.
The imposter.
You're second.
But he has a podcast. He's gonna have me on. I think he's gonna come on ours. So,
Really?
Yeah, it's cool. It was cool.
So y'all are pals.
I didn't
huh? Best
realize.
friends.
I didn't realize how many hits he had.
Yeah.
Alibis, Texas Tornado.
I mean, hits.
Yeah,
You don't
hits.
realize that until I remember I saw Earl Thomas Conley play at Green Hall, and same thing. Like
Dude, he's awesome.
he's
I
awesome.
love his music.
And I just didn't realize like it's like bam, 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 bam. Like Clay Walker, same thing. I mean, he's one of those guys. I mean, of course, Tritt's like that, you know. But everybody knew how
Yeah.
popular Travis was.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam Hood had some Travis Tritt cuts.
3 of them.
3 of them.
One of them was
yeah.
the title track on that new
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was probably the single most cool opportunity that I ever had. Because
Yeah.
man, I mean, Travis was. I mean, that was 89 to 91. Like that was when I was getting my feet on the ground. That was when I was learning.
Playing old guitar from
Yeah, man, all that stuff. I'm gonna be somebody, and all, man, just all that stuff. I mean, from that first record was "It's All About to Change," and then to 10 Feet Tall and Bulletproof. That was the last record I really got into, and I mean, he was the guy that, you know, I was really into Garth Brooks like everybody else was. I was into Clint Black. But
Black's the
Travis
man.
didn't wear a hat, and he also, you know, he wasn't, you know, Clint's kind of on the swing side of things, you know. Garth Brooks kind of, you know, credits himself for being like George Strait and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that's cowboys, you know. I mean, I'm not a cowboy, and Travis was my guy, you know.
Blues man.
Yeah, and I went and saw him. You know, I saw him play. I mean, that was the first time I ever heard anybody like do night moves. I mean, he introduced me to Seeger. He introduced me to Steve Earle. Like I got into other people's music through Travis
Because of him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
And now you have
so-
songs that he's going to
Oh
put
man,
out.
dude! I went to
That's
his like Brent and I went to his house. I spent 3 days just, you know, like going to his house and writing and just. I mean, it was like the lottery, you know. I mean, it was like I was like a contest winner just to meet the guy, much less just to go write a song with him, much less three that he recorded, much less one.
And he's
ones
a
that time.
badass too. Like a lot of those hits back in the day, he wrote like by himself.
By
right?
himself.
Yeah.
He wrote them by himself. And he said the same thing. He, you know, number one, he's never lived in Nashville. Number two, he said that you know, that all those songs, Here's a Quarter, you know, Help Me Hold On. Like he said, man, he said, I walked around with all those songs in a briefcase and went to every label and every publisher in Nashville, and everyone told me no. Everybody. You know, so
That's crazy.
he's had his time there. You know, he pounded pavement and worked hard and, you know, and did his thing. But I mean, yeah, just, man, I can't say enough about what it.
2 of our buddies work for him.
Who's that?
Dawson Edwards and Caleb Conradi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dawson does like drum tech and then
Caleb's
Caleb.
assistant production manager.
Assistant tour
Oh,
manager.
wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got great things to say, I would imagine. I
Yeah.
mean, he's just, you know how it is. You can judge character enough to where you know when somebody's bullshitting you, and
Yeah.
he's just not a bullshitter, man. I mean,
No.
everything that he says is genuine. When he says it, he means it. Always returns text messages. You know, I mean, I can't say that. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was
Can't
great.
say that.
I mean, doing better than me. You know?
How many unread texts do you have in your phone right now?
I mean, you got to realize Adam Hood, he's kind of like me. I mean, I've had the same number since I was 13.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
Yep.
you've probably had the same number since.
Dude, I just called it when I called him downstairs.
Same number.
As we're going up, he was saving my number right then.
Yeah.
I'll call you. I'll be text messaging you.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey,
You enjoyed
going
it?
back to Selma, Tally Ho, 1048, I've been to all those places too.
So 1048, you were there. That's a late night joint too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Supper Club, played it all right before I joined with Trey.
Is that right? Who were you playing it by yourself? Or you guys were playing
Joey Gettings at the time at Supper Club. It was like right as they were tearing it down.
Oh yeah,
And then saw Rick Carter there a lot. Tally Ho the same way.
yeah.
So
The
Paul and all
Tally-Ho,
them.
is that in Selma?
Yeah, he's
Yeah. You played
Dude,
there?
The Tally
Was it called Warren's before? Was that Warren's or was Warren's another place?
that's downtown by the bridge.
Where's the Tally-Ho?
It's off of I think Magnum Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
We've been in there. I think I
Yeah.
had the steak one night. And
I
Louis Flournoy was playing in there.
Yeah, Lewis, man. Lewis came on the road and played bass with us for a little while.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
And he left his blood pressure medicine at home, and we had a tough night. And
I always
Kansas
I always
City.
fuck with Lane and say, dude, your dad's way cooler than you are.
I mean, kind of.
He really is.
Yeah, he is. I know.
Lane's chilled out though, man. Lane's become cool.
He's cool.
Once he told everybody about his one testicle on the internet.
That's right. Yeah, he became human. That's right.
became
Ah,
human.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
a chink in your armor there.
I don't even know if I know that story.
Yeah, he's Uno, man. He had testicular cancer.
Oh no shit.
But here's the irony. I think they just had another baby. So, I mean, obviously that one is like a powerhouse.
it's
like a
powerhouse.
Cyclops.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
How old were you when you met Lane?
Oh, man. I want to, man, here's what's funny. I remember being 17 and sending press packages to Zydeco. This was before Lane. I think I met Lane.
Stephen Knight was probably owned it then.
Probably then, yeah. But when we played there, Josh still owned it. And so Ryan Gardenhire was my manager for a while. So Ryan hooked us up with that place. And this was before Josh moved to Exit. Like, I think he had part of Exit in, but was really like he owns Zydeco. And so I met Lane through Josh. And then when Lane bought it, I mean, we just kind of, I think the world of him. We talk to each other a lot. Same thing, just like you're talking about. He's one of those guys that really, he means what he says, and when he says, I'll do whatever I can for you.
And he cares, man.
He does.
What you just said, I'll do whatever I can for you.
And he does, yeah. He puts rubber to road. There's not a lot of guys that'll do that.
He did when, before any of my stuff happened, he always was trying to get me on opportunities. Well, we did that 65 South Fest together.
That was a great thing.
It was me, you, Tyler Reeve, Murphy Elmore, Muscadine, and then Riley, and that was right before.
Oh wow, that's right.
That was right before Riley Green just exploded. Like right after that,
Tyler Braden was on it as well.
Was he?
Jasper and Tyler.
Yeah, didn't he also tell us that night that we played Zydeco, or at least you played Zydeco more than any other artist?
Yeah,
downstairs. You got everything.
Oh,
I've
the
got Adam Hood
downstairs.
beat.
You do got me beat. I didn't play. I played downstairs some. I didn't play it all that much.
We did our show down there one time.
You did?
Me and you, our show.
Oh yeah, that's right. We played down there. Yeah. Did you ever take a band down there? I don't think
We had a band.
Did
You had your 3-piece, and
we sure did.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. I think I did a Southern Brothers show down there one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did. Do
every time we got moved downstairs, I'm like, "Fuck, we didn't sell enough."
Yeah.
tickets.
We've obviously pissed somebody off.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
always pissed somebody off. But it did feel good to go back there in December, and sell it out.
I bet.
And then it felt good to go play Iron City and not play Zydeco.
Yeah.
That felt good.
Sorry, we can't make it this time.
Yeah.
We obviously have too large of a crowd.
But I was Lane, since Lane doesn't own Zydeco anymore, I always say that we should, now that Lane's not there, we should go back there and just not play Iron City and just do 3 nights at Zydeco.
Right.
Just do a
Would you do
weekend.
it?
Yeah, just do a weekend there.
I'd do it. I started at 8 o'clock too.
Yeah.
Because he don't ever, like, that was, it's like, when you start at 11, and my wife's like, our friends are going to leave. They're all going to leave. Our friends are leaving.
They got kids to get home to.
That's right. Babysitters off the fly.
I'll never forget one night you were playing at Zydeco. I don't know if you were opening or what you were doing, or maybe do you do like an acoustic break during your set or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was this guy. No, it was for the Dark Horses thing. His name's Hoss or Huck or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, he's talking about his wife's ring. He was
This
like,
ring costs more than your guitar.
dude, you were not having it. You were pissed. You did a good job of like playing it off, but I could just tell, like, damn, he's just ready to just
He's
go
one of
home.
those guys that, like, that for every time he does that shit to me, he says the kindest things in the world. You know what I mean? So like he's really like a sweet fan. He's a nice guy, but God,
he likes to get belligerent.
if you put him out in public, you're screwed. You know what I mean?
He
Like,
came to we played a show over there at Gray Bar on 280 one night, and he came out there, and Charles Barkley was in there, and he was doing the same shit to us. It was funny.
man.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
That ring costs more than your guitar.
Well, you're probably right. which is you got to keep her though. The ring's not as important as keeping her. I still got this guitar. Yeah. He's still married. That's really funny.
Well, man, thanks for coming on today, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Great. One more time, when's your album dropping?
September 16th.
September 16th.
Album comes out. New single will be out July 22nd. Then we're going to release one more in August. And then we're doing September 16th for the record.
Awesome. So y'all be sure to go follow Adam. Where do they find you? Adam Hood Music?
AdamHood.com.
AdamHood.com.
That's all.
So
cool. That's all the social media.
That's all your socials on there. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Peace out. Thank y'all for watching episode 13.
Yeah.
Of the DM Monday podcast. Please subscribe. If you're listening, just remember that these things are videoed and they're on YouTube. So
and they are fun.
Go watch them. I wore shorts today so you can see my legs.
Yeah. See other things too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Other things
the
too.
Bumps, yeah.
The fupa.
The fupas. Yeah. Fupas all around.
All right, we're out of here. Peace out. Thank y'all.
My ex came over last night. We both know that it ain't right. Nothing new, it's the same old story. Right back to the things we swore we wouldn't do. Last time was the last time. But my ex came over last night. Should've seen my roommate's face when she parked her car out in front of our place. Ain't the first, won't be the last. Hard to leave her loving in the past. Knew what I was getting into. She wore them jeans, that same perfume. Did some time traveling to some old habits. Right back at it like nothing happened. My ex came over last night.